Hello everyone, today I'm excited to share a solution for a common challenge in Power Automate, the 5000 record export limit. If you've been looking for a way to export more than 5000 records to Excel, you're in the right place. I'll guide you through a step-by-step process on how to use Power Automate to perform this. We will specifically use the Graph API in Power Automate. So in this example, we'll be using a Dataverse as our data source, but you could use any other data source like SharePoint list or even a third-party app. So without any waste of time, let's dive in. So you can see I'm currently in Power Automate, make.powerautomate.com. I will navigate to my solutions. That's where I've recently created a solution for this demo. So I like to use solutions because it helps manage my work quite nicely. Let me open it using Graph API. That's the name of my solution. Okay, so inside my solution I only have one component at the moment. I've created an entity called movies. Because of time I couldn't create it now, so I decided to create before doing this video to save time. I'm going to open this movies entity and let's see what records are in this entity. So inside this entity we have these columns. Let's see, we have movie title, which shows the name of movies, title of movies. We have the genre, studio, release date, box office, budget, certificate, country, language, nomination and Oscar wins. So this is just fake data. Use some AI tool to just auto generate for the purpose of this tutorial. So here there's over 5000 records, and to prove that to you I could just export them here into an Excel file, and then we will see how many records are there. Let's give it some time to load. Okay, it's gonna take some time, and I'm not editing this video. I've not edited it, so bear with me because I want to show you everything. Okay, it's taking its time. Okay, download exported data. There it is. Open it. Okay, so here's our file. Open. This is these are the records in the file, in our CSV file. So I will go to the last records at the bottom to see exactly if we really do have 5000 records. So as you can see here, can you see right below here there is 6077 records in this Excel, and okay, excluding the title, that's 6076 records. So now we're fine. Let's close and close and close. Yeah, all right, now we know there's 6000 over 5000 records in this thingy entity. Now let's go straight into the topic of the day, which is Power Automate. Okay, I'm gonna click cloud here. Cloud, you can see there's nothing, there's zero flows. So I'm gonna say new automation, cloud flow. I will pick instant because I want to manually trigger my cloud flow. Then I will name it maybe just 5000 plus the record limit. I'm just gonna give it this name, and I will choose a trigger, manual trigger. You could click skip right away and then do it inside the flow, but I'm just deciding to create it now. So create, sorry, my flow is created. So at the moment the flow is not saved. If I click save, it's not going to. See, I need to provide at least one action. I like to put compose, then just put just dummy text here. Okay, just text, and then click save. So I like to do this because sometimes when you don't save and then you start doing your action, adding your actions, and then you encounter an issue, a technical issue, and then you lose all your data. So I first save and then continue. Alright, first things first, I said we have our entity in the Dataverse. So the first thing that we need to do is to retrieve those records from the Dataverse. So we will have to add an action, a new step here, add action, and then our data source is Dataverse, Microsoft Dataverse. So there's a couple of actions here. What we want is the one that's going to list all the records that we have in that movies table. So it's this one, list rows. So before we proceed, let me rename this into get movies list. Yeah. Then which table is our records? It's in movies table. There you go. And then you have the option to slice down the columns, so you can exclude unnecessary data that might be retrieved in this action. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna filter or add any columns. So what I want to do is maybe before we proceed, find out how many records are in this movies list. To do that, we will come here to our compose, and let me delete this text, and then we will add an expression, the length expression, and what we will get here, we'll come back to dynamics, contents, scroll down. We want the values of the above action. So this length here will give us just the number of rows that are in that movies entity. So click OK, save. Okay, it's saving up here. So now it's saved. So it will give you this warning. Don't worry about it, it's not an error, it's just a warning, just to tell you that you haven't filtered your records, meaning it will retrieve everything that's in that action, that's in that table, I mean. So let's test this right now. Manually test, then run flow. Your flow has successfully started, then done. Now the flow is running, it's triggered manually, so it might take some time to get this movie list because it's a long record. Okay, it's done. Let's open here. So the records are here, you just need to download, click download to see them records. Okay, while it's still loading, let me come back to Power Automate. Now let's see if this did get our records. So can you see it's saying 5,000 record? Is that correct? No, it's not. So it's because there's a limit in Power Automate. It can only retrieve 5,000 records at a time. Well, if you've encountered this issue, don't worry about it. So I've got you covered. So if I come back here, let me see if this has finished the loading. So it has. So this is all the records that was retrieved from from that entity, movies entity. So let's go back to edit and fix this. So the problem is here, get movies list. It's only getting 5,000 record. As you can see here, default equals to 5,000. So first thing that you need to do, you come to this ellipsis, you go to settings, you turn on this pagination. By default it's off, turn it on, and then increase the threshold of items. I'm gonna put 100,000. Say we're working with a lot amount of data, so it's 100,000. Then I'm gonna click done, and then let's test again. Test, save and test. Don't worry about this error. No, it's a warning, not an error. Run flow. Done. So it's running in the background, collecting our records. 22 seconds. See, now it's taking much more time because it's actually getting more records than before. So once it turns green up here, it means it has run successfully. These ticks means obviously the actions ran successfully. So okay, this is our thingy. We can click download, but we don't have to do that. Let's just go to compose. See, voila, now it's 6,076 records, no longer 5,000. Okay, let's continue with our task, with our tutorial. So I can just get rid of this because I'm not sure if I need it now. Let's delete. So now we have our movies list. So next thing we gonna so now we wanna take these records and export them into Excel. So ideally, to do that, you will need a loop to loop each record and add it into an Excel row, and that might take 3 hours, 5 hours, depending on the number of records that you're gonna be exporting. So I'm gonna click new. So I'm going to create a file in OneDrive, an Excel file in OneDrive. Create file. Okay, create file. Then the path, I will choose Power Automate Study. Yeah, Power Automate Study as the folder path. And then the name, I will say movies data underscore. Then I will put a date, format date, UTC now, and I will put a format, year, month, day. Then an extension dots XLSX. Then file content, this is a required field, so we're just gonna put a space so we can bypass that and save. Okay, then don't worry about this. Then click new step. Now inside that Excel file that I've created, now I want to create a table. Create table. Where are we creating our table? In OneDrive. OneDrive for Business. Our document library, it's OneDrive. Our file. So our file is dynamically created above. It's not, so you won't find it in Excel at the moment because it's not, you won't find it in OneDrive because it's not yet created there. So if you could click browse here, you won't find it, no way. So the file, you will find it in the above action. We'll take the ID of the create file. Okay, wait, before I can do that, I like to rename my actions to make logic and make sense of it. So create Excel file. Yeah. then this one is create table, it's fine. So then we go to our dynamic contents, we type ID, and can you see here it's create Excel file, so it's the ID from the create Excel file, so meaning it's the file from the above action. And then now we have to create our table range. So our table range, so meaning this gonna include the columns that we want in our table. How many columns do we want in our table? Let's think about it. Okay, let's go back to our, wait, let me just duplicate this, duplicate tab. Okay, using Graph API, so this is my solution. Table, open table. Because now I'm trying to avoid having a lot of columns because of time. So these are the columns that we want, that must be similar with the Excel columns. So we have movie, I think movie title, we should have movie title, genre. Okay, movie title, genre. Maybe let's add movie title, genre, studio, maybe a release date. Okay, release date. What else can we add? Yeah, maybe a language or something. Okay, let's add that. So that means how many we have then? So it's 1, 2, 3. I said release data as well, that's 4. I said language, that's 5. So that's 5 columns. Okay, so that's what in Excel that means it's A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so we will start from A1 to A, B, C, D, E to E1. So let's put a $sign behind this. No, sorry, $sign. What's going on? $sign, and then another $sign. Alright, these are going to be our columns. So if I could just show you, for someone who might not understand, I'm going to show them what I mean by this. This is what it means. It means our columns will span from A up to E, meaning here it's going to be movie title, genre, studio, release date, and blah blah blah. So that's why I have A up to E. Okay, let me close this. Alright, so the table name, I'll say movie data. That's gonna be my table name. So now we put our column names. So we said movie. Okay, we're just gonna name it as title of the movie, comma, genre, comma, studio, comma, release date, comma, what else? I said language, and yeah, language, comma, language. So these are our 5 columns that we are going to create in our Excel file. Then save. Alright, maybe we should test it. We should test this out to see if it actually works. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so everything looks fine, right? Yeah, let's test. So authenticating our connectors, continue, then run flow. Done. Great, so it's ran successful. Let's go to our OneDrive. So here we need to refresh. Okay, see, movies data 2025 18 July. No, sorry, yeah. Now we are reaching towards the end of our video. So the last thing that we need to do is to actually export the data into our Excel table. So firstly, I will show you how it's being done currently, and then I will show you the improved way of doing it using a graph API. So we'll click new and we'll say add row into a table, specify your location, your document library as well, then the file. If you click this folder to browse for your file, you will not find it because it's not yet created, since we are creating the file dynamically as well as the table. It's created dynamically in the flow. So we will search the ID of the create file. Here it is. There you go. Then the table name, ideally it's supposed to pop up now, but it won't because the table doesn't exist as of yet. So we will choose custom value, then say name, then we get the table name from the create table action. Then ideally here it's supposed to show all the columns that exist in the table, but it won't. As I've explained, the table doesn't exist as of yet. So to pass the values into our table, dynamic table, we will use JSON, open, close, curly bracket. Then we will start mapping our columns. So first one is title, so it must correspond with these ones that are here. In fact, I could just copy and then say paste here, then put format it as JSON. Okay, format it as JSON, then title of the movie title. So as soon as you do that, it's gonna put you in a loop because we are retrieving multiple records from the movie list. So it has to go through each record, exporting it individually. That's why this this way of doing it, it's not efficient because it takes time. So we have our movie title, then we move to genre, then studio, okay, it's in the wrong place. Let's do it again. Studio, yeah. Can put this colon here, comma at the end. I know you're familiar with JSON, so I don't have to go deep into it, but comment down below if you wanna understand more about JSON. Then I will produce another video on JSON. Okay, release date, finally language, so you don't put comma at the end. Okay, this is looks fine for me. So this is done basically. So if I go to test, it's literally gonna take like 3 hours for this flow to run, to complete running. So that's not really efficient. So I'm not gonna test it because it's gonna take a long time and we don't have that time for the purpose of this video. Let me just instead of getting all the records from this movie list, maybe let's just get 200 records, and use 200 to demonstrate how much time it takes to export 200 records. And then let's see, now I can just test, save and test. Run. Done. Close that, close that. So can you see how fast this time around it took to get the movie list, because we're only getting 200 records, not 6076 no more. So these other actions are done, only this one remains now, because we're going through 200 records. So while this is still running, let's go to our OneDrive and see the file if it's created and the data is being populated. So open this file. As you can see, look at it, going through each and every record one by one. See, 22. See, now 23, now 24, blah blah blah. So we will wait until this finishes. So maybe I'm just gonna pause the video and come back when it's done. Finally, it is done. So it took 9 minutes to export only 200 records. Now imagine if it was 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, how long it could have taken. Let's see our file. See, 201, obviously, because there's our title at the top, that's the one. So it's 200 records exported successfully. Yeah, now let's get to the good part. Let me get rid of this file, we don't need it anymore. Okay, now let's do it the right way. I'm gonna delete this. Now we're gonna use Graph API to actually export this data, the same amount of data. So you saw it took 9 minutes. Now let's see with Graph API how long it's going to take. New step. So first thing that we need a select statement that will help us map the records. You'll see how we are using it. Select. So the from will come from values from the get list. Then instead of using this visual here, we can just switch to text mode. So inside text mode, we will use an array. Open and close square bracket. So we're actually gonna take the records that we want from this get list. They must match these here: title, genre, studio, release date. So that's what we do. We say movie title, comma, enter, and genre, comma, enter, studio, comma, and enter, release date, comma, and enter. Finally, language. So you don't put the comma at the end. That's the first step. The second step, the good part, what you've been waiting for. No, sorry, not graph. HTTP. Send HTTP request. So this is what we want here. I'll try to break it down to you, but I won't go deep into it because of time. So firstly, the method we need to change to post, because we're going to be posting records. We're not getting the URL. This is where you will get the URL. You come here. I'll share the link to this, and then you scroll. This is the post URL that we want. This one. So it starts https://v1.0/me/drive/items, and then there's something that's gonna go in here, and then workbook/tables/table1 and rows. So we will imitate this. So for starters, I'm gonna get it up to this, up to items /. Then let's copy and then come here, paste. That's the first thing. So after the slash, now we need to make use of functions. There's a function that we have to use in order to post our records. So let's dive into it. So you will come here to expressions, and in your expressions, this is what you're gonna do. Follow my exact same steps. So you will say split, open bracket, actions, open bracket, then you put your action of your create table. You say create _table. So this is how you write your names of your actions inside a function. So come out of that bracket and say square bracket and say input. Then come out of that square bracket and say parameters in quotes. Parameters. Come out of the square bracket and say and say file. Then you come out of it again, say comma. So you're splitting with this full stop here, and then you come out the completely and say say 1. This one is basically specifying that the first element of the array. So this select here will return an array of arrays, and then this is what we're trying to map here with this split. Then you say OK, then you continue slash, and you get the rest of your URL. So it's webbook, tables, table1, and finally rows. So you say go back to expressions, not expressions, you just here and say workbook / tables / then you put your table name, which is here, movie data. Table name is movie data, paste /rows. Then you come to your body. This is what you're putting in your body. This, copy it, then paste. So the data from the select action will come in this format. So instead of having that, we remove this, and we remove that and that, then we just put here output from the select. That's it, you are done. If we done everything correctly here, this should run. So remember, it's only 200 records we're getting. Then we're gonna say test, save and test. Hopefully everything goes right. Would you look at that? It took 3 seconds to export 200 records. Let's verify if that is actually true. So if you come here, let me refresh. This was created a few seconds ago. Open. Can you see that? Would you look at that? Yeah, 200 records in within 3 seconds. Do you see the efficiency? So now let's try the 6076 records. So I'll remove the 200, meaning now I'm getting all the records in the movie list. So okay, this was few seconds ago. We should just get rid of it. So nothing is here. Refresh. Now it's empty. Now I'm gonna run the same flow again. Test, save and test. Let's see now how long it's gonna take to run over 5,000 records, which is initially the limit of Power Automate. Okay, flow is running. Let's see how long it's going to take. See, now even the get movies list is taking some time because it's quite a lot that we're getting. But it's done within 41 seconds. And let's wait for the moment of truth. Alright guys, because you can see within 15 seconds we have exported over 6,000 records. Let's just double check if that's true. Let me refresh. So this was created a minute ago. So open it. Let's see. See? Just move at the bottom of the page. There you go guys, 6,077. So it works. If I go up, this is all the data that was imported within that was exported within 15 seconds. So thank you guys, thank you for your time. If you need any clarification on this, let me know. I'll drop down another video. Just put your comments below. Thank you. Bye.